Have you ever had to look for that perfect gift for someone, and once you found it, it turns out to be sentient with a taste for murder? Well, Eric Streeter is about to experience just that as we enter the Twilight Zone. Annabelle Streeter and her daughter Christy return from a nice day of shopping. Annabelle bought her daughter a little present she doesn't want her husband to find out about. But Eric, sensing money was spent without his permission, demands to know what they bought.
My name is Talky, and I love you very much.
All right. How much did it cost?
Annabelle bought Christy a very nice and probably expensive talking doll named Talky. And Eric, well, he has some issues. He snaps at Christy, telling her to shut the doll off, which upsets the young girl.
My name is Talky, and I don't think I like you.
The doll doesn't exactly like Eric, and honestly, who could blame it? The doll makes a threat to Eric after being thrown against the wall that he'll be sorry.
I'm only her stepfather, and I'm incapable of loving children, because we can't have any of our own.
The real reason Eric is such an ass is because he married Annabelle knowing full well she had a daughter already, and he resents her for it, because apparently he can't have any of his own. Now why would this woman marry a man she knows is going to hate her and her daughter is beyond me.
2 for the price of 1, wasn't it? But we'll do anything to make you happy. Both of us.
Why? Why would you want to make this man happy? He clearly has disdain for you and your daughter, and yet you're willing to sacrifice your own happiness for this miserable gas bag? The worst part is poor Christy comes down to apologize to her father like she was in the wrong.
I didn't know your dog could wink.
Tina can't wink, Daddy.
At the dinner table, Eric continues his berating of Annabelle because she bought the doll. It's like he takes it as a slight against his manhood because he's sterile and can't have children.
And I'm going to get rid of you.
You wouldn't dare.
Eric starts messing with the doll, even shoving a lip match in its face, which it doesn't seem to like. He says that he can hurt it, but Tina says not really, but she can hurt him. Eric seems to think his wife is playing a prank on him by somehow placing a walkie-talkie inside the doll.
You are going to be sorry.
Christy comes downstairs looking for her doll, but Eric just plays stupid like he has no idea where the doll is, even though he just tossed it in the trash. Eric really seems to take pleasure in upsetting his daughter.
My name is Talky, and I'm going to kill you.
Talky just went from simply disliking Eric to wanting his head. When Eric checks the trash, the doll has all but vanished. Eric gets into another argument with Annabelle because he's convinced she's messing with him. But he slowly starts coming to the realization either the doll is alive or maybe he's just going crazy.
I told you you'd be sorry.
The doll has somehow made its return and found its way into Christy's bed.
Daddy, please.
I'm not your daddy!
This guy might be one of the most vile characters I've ever seen in a Twilight Zone episode. He takes the doll away from Christy and now it's suddenly turned into Evil Dead. He tries crushing its head with a vice, which doesn't seem too effective, and then a blowtorch that seems to go out by itself. Although if he would just keep his fingers on the trigger, it may work better. This must be one of those new vibranium Talky. The saw didn't seem to work, so it's trash can attempt number 2, except this time he's wrapped a potato sack around her.
What are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing?
But why?
I don't know why Eric seems at all confused that his wife is fed up with him. After everything he said and done to her daughter, I still don't even understand why she was with him to begin with. He offers to return the doll as some kind of peace offering to smooth things over, but if Annabelle was smart, she would tell him off. He wrapped Talky so well, he has to untie it twice between edits. Talky, however, isn't as forgiving as Annabelle is. Eric brings Tina back to Christy, who's really happy to have her doll back, so I guess everything ends happily ever after. That night, a strange buzzing noise wakes Eric up, and when he checks on Christy, he notices the doll is missing. Eric goes flying down the stairs and somehow dies after crashing into the ground. Talky, though, somehow falls down after him, even though when Eric fell, he sent Tina off into the stratosphere. Annabelle wakes up and finds her husband dead on the ground next to the doll.
My name is Talky, and you'd better be nice to me.
Alright, so the doll didn't just dislike Eric, it was straight up evil. Living Doll is such a great episode. Season 5 is mostly seen as being the poorest of the Twilight Zone series, but it still managed to produce one of the best and creepiest episodes. Eric is a completely unlikable person that you spend the entire episode waiting for him to get his comeuppance. And I love the slight twist that the doll wasn't just going after Eric, but that it's also seemingly just evil. Living Doll was written by Jerry Soule, which he completed in a single day, and was based on an idea by Charles Beaumont. However, for whatever reason, Charles is given sole credit for writing the episode. Jerry also wrote the episodes Queen of the Nile and The New Exhibit. On top of that, he also wrote several Star Trek original series episodes, such as The Corbomite Maneuver and Whom Gods Destroy. Richard C. Serafian would be on directing duties for this episode, and he did a great job making the doll, which really can't do anything, come off as this sinister entity. Bernard Herrmann would compose the music for the episode using a solo brass flute along with a celesta and some harps. He created this very sinister tune that gave the episode its dark tone. The doll that was used as Talky Tina was a real doll under the name Briquette and was released by Vogue Doll Company back in 1959 to 1961. Unlike Talky Tina, Briquette was non-talking, so Tina was modeled after the doll Chatty Cathy, which was a doll produced by Mattel at the time and proved to be very popular. Prominent voice actress of the time, June Foray, provided the voice work for both Talky Tina and Chatty Cathy. She also appears in one other episode, The Bewitching Pool, overdubbing one of the children's voices in the episode because there was too much construction going on at the time and they couldn't hear him. She's best known for voicing Rocket J. Squirrel in the classic animated series Rocky and Bullwinkle. The house used for the shoot was also used in the Season 5 episode Ring-a-Ding Girl. Both names Christy and Tina are nicknames for the name Christina. This has led to speculation that the doll's homicidal tendencies were merely a projection of Christie's built-up anger towards Eric in an attempt to protect herself and her mother. Living Doll has also had a large impact on popular culture. Many parodies have been made of the episode, including a Johnny Bravo episode titled Little Talky Tabitha, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch episode titled Goodwill Haunting about a doll that threatens Sabrina. Even Toy Story 4 was said to take some influence when director Josh Cooley claimed the character Gabby Gabby was influenced by Talky Tina. The most well-known parody would be the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 3 segment known as Clown Without Pity, in which Homer gifts Bart with an evil talking Krusty doll that is hell-bent on killing him. You can also see influences in shows and movies like the X-Files episode Chinga, the horror film Dolly Dearest, and the Child's Play series. And yes, before anyone says anything, I know Chucky is based on the My Buddy and Cabbage Patch Kids, but anytime you have a murderous doll, it's likely to have been inspired by Talky Tina. There's also a theory the Annabelle doll from the Conjuring films was inspired by this episode as well, because the mother's name is Annabelle and it has an evil doll, but I think that's all just a coincidence. Besides, Annabelle was already a real thing that the world's biggest frauds, Ed and Lorraine Warren, claimed was haunted. Telly Savalas would play the role of Eric Streeter, and he really comes off as an ass. There is nothing likable about the guy, and I don't feel any sympathy for him when he meets his end. Telly Savalas was an American actor of Greek descent, and is most likely best known for his role as Lieutenant Theo Kojak in the hit series Kojak. Mary LaRoche played his wife Annabelle Streeter. You really feel sorry for this woman, but at the same time kind of frustrated, because she never should have been with this man in the first place. Mary LaRoche was an actress and singer, best known for roles in the 1959 film Gidget and 1963 film Bye Bye Birdie. Tracy Stratford played the adorable little Christy. She didn't have much of an acting career, but does appear in one other episode, that being the Season 3 episode Little Girl Lost. Her most well-known role, however, is the voice of Lucy Van Pelt in the classic Peanuts animated special A Charlie Brown Christmas. Living Doll is a really great episode, and I highly recommend it for anyone that wants something a little more on the scary side. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts on Living Doll. I always love hearing what you guys and gals have to say. Please hit that like, and I will see you next time in the Twilight Zone.